Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers July 21st to August 1st. Kyle's vengeful plot and Kane's desperate panic. Monday, July 21st. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, are squabbling over Abbott.com. Jack accuses Billy of blindsiding him by making Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, CEO. Billy wants Chancellor back at all costs, and Jack's afraid Billy is making risky mistakes. Working with Kane, Damian Kane, who could be a murderer, is just another gamble. Jack is not happy that Billy is planning to go up against Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, and Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, and is using Kane to do it. Billy flips and threatens to have Kane buy Jack out of Abbott.com, even though Billy has not talked to Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, at all about that. Kyle tells Audra that he won. He knows about her plan to split him and Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, and is going to tell Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, that she failed. Kyle loves Claire and would never betray her, and they underestimated him. Kyle basically implies Audra is a hooker for selling herself for investment capital. And Kyle says she would have gotten sexy with him if he hadn't stopped, and he's going to tell her boyfriend Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic. Young and Restless spoilers, Nick and Phyllis spar. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, tells Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, that Kane was watching them all on camera, but footage of Damian Kane's, Jermaine Rivers, murder is conveniently gone. Nick is sure that Kane's guilty. Phyllis doubts it. Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, takes Nick's side as he assumes Kane's setting him up. And he says Phileas is helping Kane and betraying him. Phyllis, meanwhile, is level-headed and actually calm in the face of Nick's outrage and anger, and wants him to consider that someone is framing him and Kane both. But Nick storms out hot. And Sharon follows as Nick says he's sick of all this and plans to hike down and get the real cops. Carter, Vincent Stalba, brings an armed guard to the door of Nick's room and tells him he's under house arrest for threatening Kane and must be confined for the guest's peace of mind. Nick gets even angrier and goes off on Carter, who says he's going to have the guard use a weapon on Nick if he doesn't calm down. Sharon is also on their radar as well. Phyllis and Billy commiserate about their Nick and Jack issues. Billy and Phyllis agree to work together since she needs a job and Billy wants Chancellor, so they both need Kane's help. Phyllis and Billy agree they're going to join forces to prove that Kane's innocent. Intense corporate battles and suspenseful drama in Young and Restless spoilers. On Tuesday, July 22nd, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, gives Kane a warning. She may tell him he's never going to beat Victor. But Nikki might also tell Kane if he comes after Chancellor or tries to frame her son Nick, he's really going to regret it. Sharon and Nick are in danger. Now, this may be because of Carter and his security goon at the door since Nick won't comply and Carter is also warning Sharon. Or it could be something else because there is a killer on the loose roaming around the maze that has killed Damian and is now watching other guests. So Sharon and Nick may actually be on the killer's radar based on what's happening later this week. Victor refuses to let Audra back out of their agreement. Kyle caught on, but Victor doesn't care when Audra comes to tell him this. And Victor's attitude is, look, if you don't break up Kyle and Claire, you're not going to get $1 more from me, because that was the deal and you can't launch Vibrante. And of course, she's very upset. She's very worried she's going to lose Nate, lose the company, lose everything. She's right to be worried. Young and Restless spoilers. Kane and Amanda suspect each other. Wednesday, July 23rd, Kane and Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, find themselves doubting each other's loyalties and actions. They're in the security room where all the video feeds are. And Amanda wonders if Kane is deleting evidence, deleting security footage of Damian murder. And meanwhile, Kane says he thought Amanda might have been doing it. Carter also has access. So, they have to question whether he could be the perp. So, Kane's desperate to recover the missing footage because he says it will prove his innocence. Kyle confides in Nikki about the deal that Victor and Audra made to break up him and Claire. So, of course, Nikki's going to be mad at Victor, mad at Audra for pulling a stunt that Victor has to know will hurt Claire. However, I'm sure Victor will try and justify that he was saving Claire from more pain in the long run, because Victor is certain Kyle would have hurt her anyway. He was just moving along the inevitable. He's going to find a way to rationalize what he's done. And Nikki usually enables him, so we'll see if she actually stands firm. Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, will not back down from Phyllis. They're on opposite sides because Lily also thinks Kane killed Damian and Phyllis is defending Kane. Suspense builds with missing evidence and dangerous alliances in Young and the Restless. On Thursday, July 24th, Billy forces Jack to where he has to make a difficult choice and he may snatch Abbott.com away from Billy. He can do that by yanking back all the funding. And if Jack pulls out and the company collapses, there's probably not even a chance for Kane to buy him out. Like Billy might be stuck starting from ground zero, which he really has no reason to do because he has lost interest in YandRCom. We all know he has. Nick is trying to escape the Shadow Grounds and his plan goes sideways. He looks bloody and he winds up with a wound in his side. And the question is, did he just fall and hurt himself or did the killer come from him and just miss, and it wasn't a fatal wound? Victor and Chance Chancellor Connor Floyd interrogate Assistant Carter. They suspect his involvement in what is going on at the chateau. Chance and Victor corner Carter in the club car with questions. Victor demands to know if Carter knew that Kane was going to murder Damien and was covering. And Carter adamantly denies all of it. Young and Restless spoilers. Nick bloody and wounded. Friday, July 25th, Billy is with Nick, Sally and Sharon. And Billy and Sally are working together to help Nick, who is bleeding and injured. Looks like they're in some sort of storage car. I don't know if they were shut up in there or if they took refuge and locked themselves in because things are dangerous. Somebody corners Nikki on Young and the Restless. Could be Kyle, could be Audra, could be the killer whose identity we still don't know. Victor, meanwhile, decides to take things into his own hands and put a stop to what's happening. Also this week, Audra and Lily get scared while in the maze because someone is watching them. High-stakes drama and emotional turmoil in Young and Restless July spoilers. The week of July 28th through August 1st, we're going to see Billy reeling from Jack's decision. If Billy loses YandRCom, he may not care except that Sally will be very upset because she tossed away her Marchetti position and gambled on Billy. This could threaten their relationship. I'm sure that Sally's going to be upset, and Billy may offer that she can go on the Victor revenge ride with him to take over Chancellor. But I just don't see Sally wanting that. Kyle weighs his options. He's going to want to tell Claire about Victor's deal with Audra. But Nikki might get him to reconsider. To August, tempers flare and alliances shatter. And at the center of it all is Kyle Abbott, burning with a vengeance he's tried and failed to suppress. But this time, his target isn't just a rival, it's someone who betrayed him, threatened his family, and drove a wedge into everything he cherishes, Victor Newman. Meanwhile, Kane Ashby, once calm and steady, finds himself spiraling. Something has broken inside him, a secret, a mistake, a betrayal of his own. And as Kyle's plan unfolds, Kane's desperation becomes a ticking time bomb with explosive consequences for multiple families intertwined in lies. Drop of Blood Week 1, July 21st to 25th, sparks ignite. Kyle's plan begins. Kyle has been quietly watching Victor's influence dismantle his life piece by piece. First in business, then in love, and now in custody battles that have left him raw. Vic's latest maneuver at Jabot has pushed Kyle to the brink. No more whispers. No more patience. With a calculated fury, Kyle reaches out to an old ally, someone equally wronged by Victor, and proposes an extreme plan. Create a scandal so huge it brings Victor to his knees. It's not just business sabotage this time. It's exposure of Victor's darkest corporate secrets that could potentially ruin his empire. Kyle knows the risks, but the fuel for his fire is personal. He can't let Victor keep winning. Phyllis and Sharon, torn in two directions. Meanwhile, Sharon is torn. She loves Kyle, but she sees the shadow in his eyes, the way his jaw tightens whenever Victor's name surfaces. Phyllis, sensing Sharon's hesitation, tries to coax Kyle into rethinking. But the Abbott ambition, once a quiet, steady force, now flashes with something harsher. Phyllis's loyalty doesn't waver, but her worry deepens. Sharon asks Kyle point blank, "How far are you willing to go?" Kyle responds with a chilling promise. "Far enough to win." Kane's secret panic. At the GCAC, Kane secretly receives a text message that makes his blood run cold. It's an old photograph, one that could destroy him if it ever reached Lily or Nate. Someone knows. Kane's hands shake. His world has always been about control, about being the good guy, but now something he swore was buried has resurfaced. He tries to act normal in front of Nate, offering coffee and friendly banter, but his eyes betray him. That night, Kane locks himself in his office. He types a message to someone and deletes it. Then types another. And another. The panic builds. Meanwhile, someone outside that office watches. Unseen. Fire midweek mayhem. July 26th to 28th. Secrets slip and schemes deepen. Kyle makes his move. Kyle's plan moves from whispers to action. He leaks a carefully constructed document tied to a subsidiary Victor has been trying to keep off the books. Something that suggests unethical, maybe even illegal, dealings. The grapevine explodes. Tabloids run with it. Genoa City buzzes. Victor doesn't flinch in public. In private he roars. Victor confronts Phyllis at society, his voice icy. You think your little puppet can topple me? Kyle isn't there, but Phyllis feels his fire rising. For the first time in years, Phyllis wonders if she's unleashed something she can't control. Kane's panic peaks. Kane's secret? The photograph is of him with someone he shouldn't have been with years ago. Someone whose life was never supposed to intersect with Lily's world again. Now, someone threatens to expose it unless Kane pays a steep price. The blackmailer isn't asking for money. They want access. Access to information Kane holds, to secrets no one else knows. Kane's in over his head. He calls Lily, pretending it's about work. But when Lily hears his voice strained, her gut twists. Later, at the Abbott mansion, Kane shows up unexpectedly. He tells Kyle he needs help, but he won't say why. Kyle notices Kane's eyes are distant, haunted. And something tells him this isn't just typical Kane stress. Victor strikes back. Victor launches a counteroffensive. At Chancellor Warner, he quietly convinces a key shareholder to block any retaliation from Jabot's board. At the Newman Ranch, he summons his loyalists and casually mentions Kyle's impulsive adolescent tantrum. That phrase alone is like gasoline on Kyle's fury. But Victor isn't finished. He knows someone is pressuring Kane, and he likes leverage. Victor makes a discreet call. Cloud with rain, end of week 1, July 29th to 31st. The walls close in. Kyle confronts Victor. The tension between Kyle and Victor reaches a boiling point. Kyle storms into Newman Enterprises. Victor stands at a floor-to-ceiling window, calm, sipping scotch. You're playing with fire, Victor tells him. I'm done losing, Kyle replies. Victor smiles, but there's a cold edge. Then you'll burn. The exchange ends with Victor making a cryptic statement. Be careful whom you trust, even your friends have shadows. Kyle walks away, not scared but unsettled. Kane's breaking point. Kane believes the only way out is confession, a full, unfiltered truth to Lily and Nate. But before he can speak, the blackmailer takes it further. A leaked teaser of the photo hits social media, blurry but suggestive enough to raise eyebrows and suspicions. Nate sees it first. Then Lily. They rush to Kane. What's going on? Lily demands. Kane's jaw trembles. He wants to tell the truth, but the blackmailer's ultimatum still burns in his mind. You tell anyone and everything gets worse. So Kane lies. Just once. But the look in Lily's eyes tells him the truth will come out. And when it does, nothing will be the same. YandR August 1st. A devastating cliffhanger. The explosion. Victor calls an emergency board meeting, not to defend himself, but to attack. He drops a bombshell. He has uncovered evidence that someone within Jabot collaborated with external operatives to manipulate stock and internal documents. Everyone gasps. Kyle's face goes white. And then Victor does something shocking. He publicly names a suspect. The room turns. Kyle opens his mouth, and then pauses. Not because he's innocent, but because the ramifications of Victor's accusation are more tangled than anyone expected. Across town, Kane receives another message. A photo reply. One that confirms everything he feared. And then a final line. You have 24 hours. Kane collapses to his knees. Lily and Nate watch him, confused, worried, and unknowingly a heartbeat away from a truth that could fracture every relationship in the yet treacherous world of Genoa City. Secrets never stay buried for long, and every smile hides a motive. The walls of Newman Enterprises, crimson lights, and every stately mansion in town have witnessed the highs and lows of love, betrayal, and ambition. But nothing in recent memory has shaken the city like what is unfolding today. It began as a seemingly ordinary morning at Newman Enterprises, the corporate heart of Genoa City. Victor Newman, the iron-willed patriarch whose very name strikes fear and respect, arrived at the office, only to be greeted by a sight he could scarcely believe. Chelsea Newman, his daughter-in-law, standing near his desk with a stack of papers that looked like evidence straight out of a courtroom drama. Her hands shook, her usually composed face fraught with anxiety, yet there was a glimmer of defiance in her eyes. Victor, Chelsea began, her voice steady but urgent. You need to see this before it's too late. Victor arched an eyebrow, curiosity flickering beneath his usual veneer of control. See what, Chelsea? If this is another attempt to sway me against Nick or Adam, you'll regret it. Chelsea shook her head. No, this isn't about family politics, at least not entirely. This could change everything for Matt. Matt, the enigmatic figure who had recently stirred tension with Nick Newman, had always been someone who walked the fine line between innocence and mischief. But what Chelsea held in her hands wasn't a mere warning. It was proof. Evidence that Matt had been drawn, willingly or not, into a scheme that could jeopardize not just his future, but the fragile balance of power in Genoa City. Meanwhile, across town at the Newman Ranch, Nick Newman was blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around him. His morning had started with a rare moment of calm, coffee in hand, eyes scanning the latest reports at Newman Enterprises. But that calm was about to be shattered. In the world of Genoa City, nothing stays calm for long. And when Sienna, the ever-intuitive socialite with a flair for timing that borders on uncanny, made her unexpected entrance into Victor's office, the room seemed to pulse with tension. "Sienna," Victor growled, his voice a mix of irritation and concern. "This better not be another one of your stunts." Sienna raised a hand in mock innocence, though her eyes betrayed a knowing intensity. "It's not a stunt, Victor. It's reality. Nick, he's about to make a mistake that could ruin Matt. And you're the only one who can stop it." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Victor's mind raced, as did his pulse. Nick, his eldest, stubborn and impulsive, had always been a force to reckon with. But even Nick wasn't immune to the web of schemes spinning out of Chelsea and Sienna's combined urgency. Across town, at the upscale apartment he shared with his mother Sharon, Matt was oblivious. He was rehearsing lines for an upcoming play, a brief distraction from the real chaos of his life. But chaos, like a persistent shadow in Genoa City, has a way of finding its mark. A sudden knock at the door heralded the arrival of news he could neither anticipate nor avoid. Chelsea stood there, determination written on her face, evidence clutched in her hands. "Matt," she said softly but with a tone that brooked no argument, "we need to talk. Now." What followed in the next hour was nothing short of explosive. Documents, photographs, and emails, carefully compiled proof that someone had been manipulating events behind the scenes, spread across Matt's living room. Every revelation seemed to twist the knife deeper into the fragile alliances of Genoa City. The audience watching these events unfold could almost feel the tension crackling through the air, as if the city itself were holding its breath. Nick, meanwhile, was racing against time. Unaware of Sienna's warning, he prepared to take a bold step that could unravel Matt's life. His intention was noble, driven by a protective instinct. But in Genoa City, even noble intentions are weaponized, twisted, and turned into ammunition for betrayal. Victor, sensing the urgency, moved decisively. He summoned Nick to the office, his presence alone commanding attention. When father and son met, the tension was palpable, a storm ready to break. "Nick," Victor said, his tone sharp, "there's something you need to know before you act. Matt, he's in danger. And it's bigger than you think." Nick's brow furrowed. "Danger? What do you mean, Dad?" Victor's gaze hardened. "There's a conspiracy at play. Someone is trying to manipulate Matt, to put him in a position where he could be blamed for something he didn't do. And if you move without knowing the full picture, you'll make everything worse." The conversation that followed was tense, loaded with the weight of past betrayals and unspoken fears. Nick's impulsive nature clashed with Victor's calculated caution, creating a dynamic that could only exist in the high-stakes world of Genoa City. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Sienna worked behind the scenes, coordinating evidence, strategies, and alliances, knowing that a single misstep could lead to disaster. And disaster was never far away. In another part of the city, Adam Newman, always the wild card, observed the unfolding chaos with an amused, if sinister, smirk. His mind, a labyrinth of schemes and motivations, was already plotting how to turn the situation to his advantage. For Adam, chaos isn't just a circumstance, it's an opportunity. And Genoa City, in all its shimmering grandeur and hidden darkness, provided him with endless opportunities. By late afternoon, the tension had reached its peak. Matt, Nick, Chelsea, Victor, and Sienna were drawn together in a confrontation that would alter the course of their lives. Words were exchanged, accusations flew, and secrets came spilling out like a broken dam. Each revelation, each confession, added another layer to the complex tapestry of deception, loyalty, and love that defined the city. In the end, one truth became painfully clear. In Genoa City, the past is never truly gone, and the consequences of every action ripple far beyond what anyone could imagine. Matt's future hung in the balance, a delicate dance between justice and vengeance. Nick was forced to reconsider his next move, weighing instinct against evidence. Victor, as always, stood at the center, the fulcrum on which the city's fate rested. And Chelsea and Sienna, though caught in the crossfire, emerged as the unlikely catalysts for change, proving that even in a world dominated by power and ambition, courage and determination can make a difference. As night fell over Genoa City, the skyline glittered like a jewel, oblivious to the turmoil below. But in the hearts and minds of those involved, the storm was far from over. Alliances would shift, betrayals would be revealed, and the cycle of intrigue would continue. Because in the young and the restless, nothing stays settled for long. And somewhere, in the quiet aftermath, one thought lingered for all who remained in the city. In Genoa City, every secret comes at a price, and the price is never small. Is heating up once again, and the latest young and the restless spoilers are leaving fans on the edge of their seats. Power struggles, backstabbing, and secret alliances are dominating the corporate battlefield, proving that in this city, trust is rare, and betrayal is the ultimate currency. From the tense boardroom clashes at Newman Enterprises to the shocking maneuvers at Chancellor Winters, viewers are being treated to a drama-filled spectacle where every decision could make, or break, a legacy. At the center of this turmoil is Victor Newman, the undisputed king of Genoa City's corporate landscape. Known for his ruthlessness and uncanny ability to anticipate his rivals' moves, Victor is facing unprecedented challenges that are testing even his legendary instincts. Rumor has it that a mysterious figure within Newman Enterprises is quietly orchestrating a campaign to undermine him from the inside. Could this be someone loyal turned traitor, or an opportunist with designs on the Newman Empire? Either way, the stakes could not be higher. Victor's family, always entangled in his empire, is feeling the tremors. Nick Newman, usually confident and calculated, is caught in a moral and corporate dilemma that could define his career. His latest business deal, aimed at expanding Newman Enterprises into international markets, is teetering on the brink of collapse. A single misstep could hand his competitors a major victory, and the whispers around Genoa City suggest that some of Nick's closest allies may be playing a dangerous game of their own. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman, who has always walked the tightrope between ambition and family loyalty, is quietly positioning herself for a corporate takeover that could challenge her father's dominance. But does Victoria have the patience and cunning to pull it off, or will she be undone by her own ambition? Meanwhile, across town at Chancellor Winters, another high-stakes drama is unfolding. Billy Abbott, ever the unpredictable force, is making bold moves that are shaking the corporate foundation of the company. His alliance with Kane Ashby, a strategic and calculating mind in his own right, is sending shockwaves through the board. Together, they are not just challenging the established order, they are rewriting the rules of engagement. Insider sources suggest that Billy and Kane's partnership is built on mutual benefit, but with personalities this volatile, any moment could spark a scandal that changes everything. Adding fuel to the fire is the presence of Chelsea Lawson, whose clever maneuvering in recent weeks has made her a key player in these corporate battles. Chelsea's charm and strategic thinking have allowed her to insert herself into critical negotiations, often tipping the scales in unexpected ways. Her connection with Adam Newman, whose past schemes have left both allies and enemies wary, adds a layer of unpredictability to every boardroom interaction. Chelsea's moves are carefully calculated, but in Genoa City, even the smartest players can be blindsided. And the suspense doesn't stop at corporate strategy. Personal entanglements are intensifying the stakes. Relationships between these power players are fraying under the pressure of ambition. Secrets once buried are now surfacing, and in true Young and the Restless fashion, these revelations threaten to derail both personal and professional alliances. An unexpected discovery by one of the key characters could trigger a domino effect, forcing betrayals and exposing vulnerabilities that no one saw coming. The tension reached a fever pitch during a recent board meeting at Newman Enterprises. According to spoilers, an anonymous tip disrupted proceedings, leaving Victor and his executives scrambling. Contracts were challenged, partnerships questioned, and tempers flared. In the end, Victor's quick thinking preserved his company, for now, but insiders hint that this is just the beginning of a prolonged corporate siege. Fans are speculating. Who is behind the anonymous tip? And what is their endgame? Not to be outdone, the Abbott family is also in a fierce corporate showdown. Billy Abbott's daring tactics have made him a formidable contender in a city where only the shrewdest survive. His interactions with Victor Newman, both in boardrooms and behind closed doors, are a chess game played at high stakes. Each maneuver is a gamble, and viewers are witnessing the unpredictable consequences of ambition and rivalry. Will Billy succeed in challenging the Newman Empire, Or will Victor's decades of experience and strategic acumen crush this latest threat? Meanwhile, Genoa City's legal corridors are buzzing. Confidential contracts, corporate espionage, and even potential criminal ramifications are making every move precarious. Legal teams are working overtime to prevent sensitive information from leaking to the wrong hands. The city's business elite are discovering that in this game, a single misstep could be catastrophic, and alliances are as fragile as glass. Every whispered conversation, every veiled threat, could trigger a full-blown corporate war. But beyond the high-stakes battles, there's a human element that cannot be ignored. For Victor, Nick, Victoria, Billy, and Chelsea, the pressure of ambition comes with personal cost. Friendships are tested, family loyalties questioned, and romances strained. The show's brilliant writing ensures that every corporate decision is intertwined with intense emotional drama, keeping viewers riveted. Whether it's a betrayal in the boardroom or a shocking revelation in the Newman family's personal lives, the suspense never lets up. The current storylines have also sparked heated debates among fans. Social media is alive with speculation, theories, and heated discussions about who will ultimately emerge victorious. Every twist is analyzed, every secret dissected. The unpredictable nature of these corporate battles has created an environment where fans feel like they are part of the strategy themselves, eagerly waiting to see who will outmaneuver whom next. As the young and the restless continues to push boundaries, the city of Genoa is becoming a pressure cooker of ambition, deceit, and power struggles. The ongoing corporate wars are more than just business. They are personal, psychological, and at times dangerously manipulative. Viewers are witnessing the intersection of strategy, emotion, and high-stakes drama in a way that only this iconic soap opera can deliver. One thing is certain. In Genoa City, no one is safe. The next move could come from an unexpected direction. A seemingly minor character could turn the tide, and a single revelation could rewrite the city's power map entirely. Whether Victor retains his empire, Billy shakes the foundations, or Chelsea's cunning reshapes the corporate hierarchy, fans are guaranteed a roller coaster of suspense, intrigue, and jaw-dropping surprises. For those following these intense corporate battles and suspenseful dramas, the next episodes promise shocking revelations, secret alliances, and game-changing strategies. The Young and the Restless continues to demonstrate why it remains one of daytime television's most compelling and thrilling shows. In a world where power is everything and trust is fleeting, Genoa City's elite are proving that ambition can be as dangerous as it is irresistible. As viewers, all we can do is watch, speculate, and prepare for the next bombshell, because in Genoa City, the stakes are always higher than they seem, and nobody, not even Victor Newman, is untouchable.